Hey everybody, I'm Rob Childs, a Rapier swordsman out of the United States, and today's video is going to be a little bit different than the fencing instructionals you're used to seeing on this YouTube channel. I got a question from one of you, the YouTube subscribers, asking about the mask that I wear. Now, since I've gotten questions about that before, and also since I've gotten questions from others at various tournaments asking about the different pieces of armor that I wear, I figured instead of answering all of those questions individually, I would go ahead and just do a video speaking to each one of them, and then you can decide for yourself if any of these bits and pieces that I wear are right for you. If by chance it turns out they are, just look down in the description of the video and you'll find the links for all of the pieces I'm about to talk about. Okay, so first up, let's talk about the mask. The mask that I used to wear, and I'm not going to bother naming the manufacturer, but the mask that I used to wear was a 5.6 pound block, basically, that I would put on my head. And it offered plenty of good protection. I mean, you could take a longsword hit, saber hit, whatever the case is, and it was going to protect you very well. But like I said, at 5.6 pounds, that's a goodly amount of weight to be carrying around in addition on your shoulders. So one of my students actually bought me a gift, and that gift was this mask right here. This is a Bokusi mask. You can get this through SoCal Swords if you are so inclined. Again, look for the link in the description of the video if you want one. But it's a very good mask that I have found. And first and foremost, I can tell you the weight is 4.4 pounds vice the 5.6 that my prior mask was. So that means that I'm carrying around less weight. And as any swordsman with any experience will tell you, the less weight that you can carry around, especially when you're talking about a tournament or tournaments that go across days, the less weight that you're carrying, that means that the better it's going to be for your stamina, the more explosive your movements can be, etc., etc. Now, as you can see here too, this mask has got 360-degree hard protection all the way around it. That is particularly nice whenever you are someone like me who, when you go to a HEMA event, you could be fencing in longsword one day and then saber the next day or rapier the following day. And you don't have to switch masks when you've got something like this on here, no matter what the weapon is. And as a part of that, the backside of the mask itself is articulated, so that way you can just open it up, throw it on your head, and just as easily take it off one-handed. It's very easy to put on, which is nice because when I'm standing there getting ready for my match, I could have my gloves on, I've got my jacket on. You got a lot of bulky gear on there, and this allows you to be able to put this on and off with one hand, not a problem. In addition, it's well padded on the inside. It is not compressing down on my head. It is very comfortable to wear. The lighter weight, like I said, makes it even easier so. So overall, this is a very good mask and now has become my preferred mask for whatever HEMA event that I'm fencing in. Now, there is one drawback that I will bring to your attention, and that is because of the fact that you've got so much hard protection on all sides, when you take a hit to the helm, like say, for example, in a longsword tournament, it's considerably louder than the other masks that you might have at your disposal that have the leather padding on the outsides. But as long as those loud bangs against the side of your head doesn't bother you, this is a very good mask, and for me, all of the pros definitely outweighs the one con of it being a little bit louder when you take a hit. So another piece of armor that I wear that oftentimes draws questions from people is my Gorget. Now, the Gorget I used to wear was a hard leather protection around my neck that didn't really offer a whole lot in the way of comfort, but it did indeed protect your throat. So if you were ever to take a shot straight on from a thrust, it would do a pretty good job of making sure that it didn't do any damage other than maybe just the shock value of getting struck. But ever since that I discovered the Vitus Light Gorget by Zword on Volk, this is something that is light years ahead of the prior Gorget that I used to wear. So first and foremost, it's a lot lighter, and as I mentioned in the prior clip, it is definitely a good thing to have less weight on you. But the thing that I really like about this, aside from the fact that it's easy on and easy off, because of the fact that it is flexible right here, you just simply slip it on the neck and it goes on and off easy as pie. It's lightweight, as I mentioned, but also too, the best thing that I love about this is the fact that it is articulating. So whenever I have this on, and I won't bother putting it on at the moment because it'll interfere with the microphone, but I can actually tilt my head down and it will collapse and allow me to be able to move my head much more freely than when I've got a hard leather protection around my neck. I have experimented with different Gorgets that I have found, some of them being much smaller, and they offered, a great deal more comfort that way, but the smaller the Gorget, the less protection you have around the throat. This offers not only articulation and allows you to be able to move, it's very light, But on top of everything, it's also something that allows full throat protection. No matter what, from here to here, if I get struck with a thrust, this is going to intercept that. So you can get one of these through, like I said, through Zwart on Volk. Again, I apologize if I am butchering the pronunciation on that, but if you go click on the link that you see in the description for this video, it'll take you straight away to where you can find this. Right now, the last time I had checked, they are out of stock on this particular type of Gorget, but I have looked at other websites, at other manufacturers, and you will find articulating Gorgets of various kinds on those sites as well. So maybe you can find something there if this isn't available for you at the time. Okay, so let's talk about the gloves. If you're a Rapier aficionado like myself, or even if you just like to participate in the occasional Rapier tournament somewhere around the world, you're going to want to have some good gloves on you. Now, I used to use cowhide gauntlets, which at the time worked very well for me. They were comfortable, they were durable in terms of I wouldn't take any scrapes or cuts from a burr and a blade that accidentally comes across the back of the hand, whatever the case may be. However, they weren't as long-lasting as I would have liked. And considering how much money I was pouring into each pair of those gloves, well, let's just say that I was looking for something better. And lo and behold, I found them. So Fox Creek elk hide gloves, like I'm wearing right now, these are not only very comfortable, but they offer a great deal of protection against any sort of burr and a blade. But they also very fashionable too, because this would have been the kind of thing that you were wearing back in the day. I will say that they're a little on the pricey side, but you are getting what you pay for when it comes to these gloves because they are very long lasting. Each pair of these, lasts me for years. I do keep extra pairs on hand just in case, so that way I don't have to order, at the last minute. But I will tell you, they are comfortable, they are long lasting, and all I can say is high marks for these gloves from Fox Creek, the elk hide gloves. You can see the link in the description there if you wanted to get some for yourself. Like I said, a little on the pricey side, but well worth the cost. Okay, so another thing that people tend to ask me about, you may have noticed it in the last segment of this video, is the finger guard that I have on my middle finger of my right hand. Now, this is basically a Rockler finger guard. It's normally used for sewing. It's used as a finger guard in case you were to prevent you from accidentally stabbing yourself or if you're whittling and cutting yourself. But I have found that this to be a very effective means of helping to have added protection to my hand, in particular my middle finger, when I am fencing. So for my particular style, I operate with a 2-finger grip around the ricasso. And in particular, my middle finger is that load-bearing finger that really pulls down on that sword and presses the handle into the palm of my hand. Well, if you don't have this in place and you're fencing with that strong grip like I prefer, well, what happens is you'll end up developing a blister, and then the blister needs to heal, and then another blister will develop, and then eventually you would develop a callus, so you wouldn't need to have any sort of additional protection at all. But if you stop fencing for even a week, that callus goes away and you're right back to square one. So I have found that this Rockler finger guard, if you take that and you just simply clip the end off of it, you can slide it right over your finger. And for me, I put even an additional piece of leather in there. And what this does is it basically acts as an artificial callus. It allows me to be able to fence for as long as I like, and I will have absolutely no detriment to my middle weight-bearing finger. If you are like me and you prefer that kind of a grip, or who knows, maybe you have some other grip that is causing you some issues of blister development on other fingers, this is an excellent way in order to put some extra protection in there and help keep your hands healthy throughout the entirety of your fencing. So there are a number of things that my students will hear me say over and over again over the course of their training. And one of them is that footwork is fully 50% of your defense. But you can't very well have good footwork if you don't have good footwear. Now, over the course of the years of my fencing career, I have tried many and varied different kinds of shoes. I have tried cross-training shoes, different types of running shoes, just regular tennis shoes, and to varying degrees, there was some greater and lesser degrees of success. But then one of my students brought to my attention these shoes here. Now, these are made by a company called Salomon. There are a number of advantages that I have discovered about these, and I'm going to talk to you about that now. One, as you might notice, is it's got a different kind of lace up, right? So if you pull on this and then you just slide this down, it grabs a hold of your foot and it just hangs on. You don't have to bother with laces. You don't need to worry about laces coming undone over the course of the tournament. This makes it very easy for you to lace up one-handed, and it makes it very easy to get out of very easily as well. So in addition to that too, though, it is a very comfortable fit. I have discovered, at least, as far as my foot is concerned, that the shoe itself molds itself to the natural form of your foot very well. Now, we all know that different people are going to have different shape of feet, so I don't know if they offer anything in the way of customization. But for those of you who find them as comfortable as I do, aside from the fact that you got the lacing and you got the comfort fit and it does grab the foot nicely, but the tread on these things. Now, this is what has really and truly impressed me. These shoes, I have found, will grab absolutely any kind of surface whatsoever. It doesn't matter if you are fencing on a basketball court, tennis court, grass, dirt, whatever. These shoes grab the ground really well. Now, someone like myself who likes to use a lot of explosive actions in that footwork, this is key to being able to do something like that, because you're not going to do that if you're sliding around. You got to totally change the way you're fencing if you don't have good grip. So these shoes I have found to be an excellent source of grip when it comes to being able to move quickly. It facilitates my movement very well. So along those lines, I highly recommend that you take a look at click on the link in the description of the video, have a look for yourselves. Like the gloves that I use, these are a little on the pricey side, but they serve very well, and I can't recommend them highly enough. Now, when it comes to footwear, I would like to add one more piece of advice for anybody who is interested in increasing their traction while they are at a tournament. So one of the things that I have discovered is that wherever it is that you're fencing, eventually the bottom of your shoes is going to pick up a light layer of dust. And as that light layer of dust is accumulated, your traction subsequently goes down. So one of the things that I have found is very helpful over the course of the day is to have two rags, one that's slightly damp, one that is dry. Keep those nearby at all times, and when you step on the wet rag and then step on the dry rag in order to wipe your feet off, you are going to notice a tremendous difference in the way that your traction is on your shoes. Every time I have gone to a tournament over the last few years, here's what normally happens. People start seeing me wiping my shoes off on the rags, and then I let somebody else try it out for themselves, and you'll just see their eyes go wide with exactly what kind of a difference in traction it makes. Next thing you know, everybody in the place has got some sort of a rag, whether they're using a t-shirt or what have you. So I highly recommend that if you don't do this in your practice right now, get yourself two rags, one that you can use slightly damp, one that you can use slightly dry. I guarantee you, you will be happy with the results. So lastly, I'm going to talk to you about the fencing jacket. So this particular jacket is a Zen Warrior jacket. I've been dealing with this company for a number of years. This one is a 550 Newton jacket. It is a snap closure that goes up the left side and comes across the clavicle here. The jackets themselves come in a multitude of colors. I prefer black, like most of my HEMA aficionados out there. Each jacket that you order, they're going to take your measurements and they're going to custom fit it to you. Now, as a result, yes, it's going to take a little bit longer because they're making something specific for you. But what you get back is a custom fit jacket that is form fitted to you. And for someone like me who likes to fence in such a fashion, for example, when I parry, I like to parry so that way my opponents just miss me. I don't like to have a lot of extra material that could potentially snag one of those points. A judge can't tell the difference between hitting just cloth and hitting me. So when it comes to form fitting, that's the kind of jacket I prefer. And I will tell you this, they have got excellent customer service. I have been dealing with these folks, like I said, for a number of years. There's one story in particular I could tell you that you would think is just absolutely amazing, but that's for another time. Suffice it to say, they have excellent customer service, and I highly recommend them if you're looking for something that is both robust and long-lasting. I hope you all found this information useful. This is just some of the equipment that I have found works well for me, and in all likelihood, at least some of these things might well indeed work well for you. If you have any questions or you wanted to see more about the material, by all means, look at the description of this video. You're going to find the links for each of the items that I was talking about. In the meantime, if you're looking also for instructional videos that are specific and goes into a much deeper dive on all of those strategies, the tactics, the techniques of rapier sword fighting and other weapons as well, take a look at my Patreon channel, Castle and Sword. There you're going to find those type of deep dive instructionals as well as exclusive Castle updates that you're not going to see on the public YouTube channel. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. You can do so in the comment section on the YouTube channel. You can reach out to me on Facebook. I'm pretty easy to get a hold of, and I'm more than happy to help out where I can.